Okay, we've created some lines and circles. Let's talk a little bit about points. So there are several different types of points we can create. Let's exit out of this sketch here. I'm going to just start with a whole new model. Let's start fresh. We'll access the sketch. Let's create a point. Now I can just simply click a position, go to point, click another position, but you see what I've done here. I did a no-no, got these in this geometrical set. So make sure you create yours in the part body. But you have your points sitting over here. So I don't like it because they're hard to see. The default, I think, should come in better for new users, and if we want them small, we'll make them small. So all I did was activate point, clicked anywhere on my screen, and it creates a point. And I have the snap to point or snap to grid feature on in the action pad. So it just snaps to those grid features. So you'll notice when I select point and I drag my cursor, it snaps to nice even numbers, quarter-inch increments. Now, the other option to do that would be to go to points using coordinates. And if I'm under Cartesian and I select, let's go 2 for H and 4 for V and hit OK. You can barely see it, but it's right up here in that coordinate here. All right, I'll go again to circle. Sorry. To points using coordinates. And this time I'll see, what was this one at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's that point right there. Point number 2. So let's cancel that. Point number 2 is right here. So we'll do coordinate 6 over and 4 up. So I'll use 6 and then highlight this and change that to 4. Don't hit enter, otherwise it will just take off and do it. If you hit tab, you'll get to see your numbers, then hit OK. So when you're using the Cartesian coordinates, that's coming off of this axis here. Cancel that. The points are so small that it's hard for me to see. If I want to, I could go to circle. Can you? Let's see. Highlight this point first and then go to circle. Nope, it doesn't even take it that way. So I got to actually pick on that circle. And that's how you could use a point. So you have a specific spot you want to create the circle. You saw from my demo though, I don't need to create those points. I can just select that on the fly. So it's really not used that much anymore as it was in the old days, but let's go ahead and just create a line from here to here. Now, what I do a lot is I put points in the middle of things a lot. So equal distance is great for that. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to select this. Well, that line was already highlighted. So it has 3 points it's going to create. It's going to create 3 points equally spaced along that line. I'm going to change that to 1 and hit enter. It created 1 point, point number 6, right in the center of the screen, or center of that line. Okay, so equal distance is great for that. Normally why I would do that is because I'm trying to create a line at a specific point, like a perpendicular line, and I want to make sure it's on that point. So I had that point already active. I think I did. Again, it's easier for me just to grab it off a point there, and then since that point is on that line, it knows to make it perpendicular. And if I wanted to, I could do something like this. Symmetrical extended. So it's growing in both directions. Okay, so I click a position, and now I created a line that is in the center of that point and symmetrical about that line. I do that a lot. And I also do that equal distance points a lot. It's a great way to create holes equally spaced. So if I were to go to the line feature and just create a regular old line, and I want to create holes equally spaced along that line, I could do equal distance. And if I hit the up arrow, you see I got 2 holes, 2 points equally distanced. So that divides the lines in thirds. If I go up one more, it's 3 equal positions. I select OK. I can go to circle and grab each point. Okay, and I could create circles on each of those points. Okay, another way I can do that same thing is I would go to line, create a line, points, same thing, 3 points equally spaced, circle on that first point, but this time with that highlighted, I'm going to use this translate command, and I'm going to, it comes up with this pop-up window for translate. It has 1, so if I select this point, this is where I want to start my move, and then I go over here, I can type in the length I want. Okay, so I'll just go 1. Sorry, I'll go 1, and I'm going to change my instance to 2. Okay, if I want, I can just keep bumping up how many I want. All right, but I just want 2 in this case, so I'll shrink that back down, and I select OK. Oh, shoot! Now it wants an endpoint, so I'll click that. There's my endpoint. I created 2 more circles from this equally spaced. All right, so that's the equal distance. Intersection, if I select a line and just come through 2 lines, with that line highlighted, I can select intersect and grab this line. And when I grab that line in the tree, that's point number 25, that's the intersection. Okay, and I might want to use that intersection line to grab that point and draw another line off that point. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm grabbing at that intersection where they come. That's fine to do. If I select intersect and I select this line and this line, you notice it doesn't know what to do. Again, I go intersect and I select this line and this line. It's going to say that there's no intersection between those lines. It doesn't do anything. If I grab intersection, I try and grab this endpoint and this endpoint. Again, it's not going to do anything. But if I grab intersection and grab this line and this line over here, it put point 27 right there, right where it would intersect an infinite line. So even if the lines don't cross, it can find intersecting lines. Okay, so that's great. I'm going to talk about one last thing under point projection. if I create a point anywhere over here, maybe that point represents a part, okay, and I want to know from that intersection what is the closest point to another part, because I want to make sure I'm not interfering. I want to just see how far the distance is or where the closest point would be. You could project that point to find out where it's at. What it does is you select two elements and it projects a point at the shortest distance. So if I grab this point down here, I had that whole, actually I've never tried that with that thing highlighted like that, but it's 0.31, no, it was 0.27. This point here, I'm going to do a project. I'm trying to grab that point. So 0.28 to this line, and see what it does is it creates the shortest distance between those elements. Okay, so I'll try again. We'll do a point project, 0.28, and I'll select the arc. What's going on here? Let's select this point. That's 0.28, and oh shoot, I had something selected, didn't realize it. Let's go project. I'm going to pick 0.28, and I'm going to pick this arc, and it takes from that point the closest point to that arc and creates a projection perpendicular to that arc. That is the shortest distance from these ends. That might be used a lot for analysis checks, just to verify what kind of spacing we have from one element to the next. What you would do next is you go to Tools. Oh no, I don't have that here. You could just simply go to Sketch, Constraint, and see. No, I can't. Yeah, go to Constraint, and I can see that distance from these two elements. All right, so that pretty much is a wrap on the majority of what points are used for in the Sketcher workbench.